check my, hopefully I'm not dropping any more frames. I might drop frames still. I'm still figuring this stuff out, FYI, in case I haven't said that 100 times now. But let's check out my speed test. All right. So turning off the VPN and turning off all my stuff seemed to have improved my download speeds, which were at 20 last time I checked. And let's see if it improved my upload speeds as well, which it should. Let's do it. Again, I am still learning all of this stuff. Sorry about the technical difficulties here, people. My bad. Oh yeah, 470. Okay, this is fine. All right, let's get back into it. So Vite, whatever you want to call it. I do not know what it's actually called. Here we have our Vite app, Vite, and it's basically just a React app here. There's nothing really too fancy about it. I mean, if we look into the package, we look into the file here, it's just a very, very simple package.json, package lock node modules, src, and an index.html. Basically create React app, but it's very, very fast. I'm going to open this up in VS Code here. Let's just hide this because I don't need it. Bump up the interface like crazy of VS Code. And let's head into it. We have a Vite config, and we have our source folder, which is everything that you'd come to expect from a basic create React app. So what do we do with this? Well, I'm going to end up deleting just about everything in here. We don't need it. Again, this is just a playground for me to start to develop things. And I really just want a single button to open card. Okay. We don't need this account, but we can say is open, set is open, and the initial state is going to be false. Okay. So again, we're going to be building what is essentially the card interface from Level Up Tutorials when you go to buy something. Not this window. When you go to buy something, here's this card, right? You can drag it, you can do whatever. It has this neat fade. It has this neat kind of animation here. And for the most part, this little animation is something you see all the time, especially on mobile apps. And this is something we're going to be building within the Level Up Tutorials Pro series. So again, while you may see this code here in action, what I'm doing here, I'm just sort of hacking through it. So don't expect this to be necessarily a tutorial on how to build something like this, because we'll be doing that specifically in the course, not within streaming. So when you do watch the course, that's going to be something that we'll be covering. So let's dive into it. We're using Framer Motion for this. So we're going to need to install Framer Motion. But most importantly, we're probably going to need to set up a whole bunch of CSS stuff. Again, it's not about making this look pretty. It's just about making it work. Let's see, checkout. I'm looking at the Level Up Tutorials code here. And the Level Up Tutorials code is, while it's going to be applicable, it's a little bit, I don't want to say rough because it's in action, right? But this code right here is certainly a little bit more than what we're going to be doing first and foremost. So if you've taken my Framer Motion course for the Framer Motion one, you will know that we have motion.divs, and we've done things like drag, but we haven't done anything like drag. Well, we did a little bit of drag constraints on drag and that sort of thing. Let's go ahead and first build this modal out here. I'm going to pop this over here back again so that we can actually see this. So, okay. We also need to install the dependencies and stuff, but that's okay too. Okay, so we want to build this card interface. Where do we go? Let's clean up this file a little bit more. Let's first add a card. We're going to just say div, and this is going to be a card. So what does a card entail? Style. It's going to need a background of white. It's going to need, this should be a string. Let's see. It's going to be, it doesn't matter for width right now. Let's do position. And what might you expect this to be? Position absolute, that sort of thing. It needs to be one of those position absolute and or position fixed. Let me see what I did on the other one. I believe it's position fixed. Checkout area is going to be position fixed. Okay, so it needs to be position fixed. We're going to do something like a height of let's do, this is kind of interesting. We're going to say height of, and it's going to be a calc value where we're going to say it's 100% minus, let's say something like 2 rems. So it's 100% of the height here since it's position fixed, but it's essentially going to be 2 rems minus that. So it pokes out a little bit if you put it at the very bottom. We're also going to say that this is bottom of 0, and this is going to be, let's see. I don't know. We'll just keep it like this for now. Bottom of 0. Expected a comma here. Thank you. Cool. Probably need some sort of a width. 100% as well. Again, this whole little setup that I'm doing CSS wise is really not important. It's mostly just to get us to the point where we have a card. Again, this is the demo, right? You want to be able to swipe it away, swipe it down. You also want to be able to pull and drag it a little bit, okay? So it's so funny. I feel so so out of my element here trying to get some things going here in Twitch, or in streaming in general. So forgive me. It seems like I have technical difficulties every time while streaming, but I'm going to fix that eventually. Don't worry. So again, we're building this card just for fun, and let's pull open the actual page here, the open card. You can see I have my page here. We have this div, class name, whatever. I don't know where the CSS is in app.css. Well, like why aren't you loading CSS? Firefox, you can kindly get out of here. I don't want you open. Didn't ask for you to open. Okay. So like I mentioned, we're streaming React today. We're working on animations for the new course, things that we're going to be able to try out. I think index.css. Why don't you get a background of something like 333? A little dark gray background, just so we get some contrast here. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, this is rough. Okay. So we have our card here. Let's see where our card has nothing in it. That shouldn't necessarily matter. Although we probably do need a height on this card as well. It's position fixed, width 100%. Oh, it has a height, calc 100% minus 2 rems, bottom of 0. So therefore, this big white thing that you're looking at right here, this right here is in fact our card. And you look at it, sometimes when I first looked at this, I thought, hey, this was just like one of those issues where the height wasn't going 100% of the width. But nope, we give body, well, body is in fact not going 100% of the root anyways. Oh yeah, I forgot that you got to do height on HTML 100% too. So at least that would be like that. I kind of hate that stuff, you know? So let's actually say index.css body minimum height is going to be 100 VH. Why? Well, now it's going to at least look like this, I think. Yes, it is. It's at least going to look like this. Okay, now's the point where we're going to start building out more of our card. I'm going to give this thing border radiuses, or border radiuses. And I always forget, you know, when you do border radius on something like this and you only want to do 2 of the things, I believe it is, let's do something like 15 pixels, and then 0, 0. I'm 90% positive that that is going to be what I want to get the top left and the top right corners CSS'd. And again, I hate styling CSS and objects like this in JavaScript. I typically stay very far away from it, but it makes sense in this case. Here we go. Here's our card. Let's even bop this over like this. Ooh, yeah, side by side. Cool. Okay, so we have the style here and our card. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to turn this into a motion div. So I have to go get Framer Motion, which is always a thing to install plugins, install packages. Okay. You're just trying, everything's not working for me today. Okay, npm install Framer Motion. Now, Framer Motion, in between the last tutorial course and the new one, it came out with version 2. And it doesn't necessarily matter a whole ton for this, what I'm preparing here, but it does matter in the large scheme of things. There's some extra fun stuff. And maybe over the course of one of these preparation videos, you will actually see that in action. So Framer Motion is now installed, meaning that we can come in here and add our dependency. We bumped down the font size just a little bit here. I think it's still pretty readable. And actually, let's turn off that sidebar thing. Where's it? Window? Nope. View, appearance. I don't know the, it's the activity bar. Yes. Never remember what it's called. And I don't know the shortcut for it, but whatever. So live streaming, right? Live streaming. Okay, so we have this card. Let's go ahead and next thing we want to do is import our motion stuff. Import motion from Framer Motion. Framer Motion is a really awesome library if you've never used it. And what we want to do is say, instead of div, we're going to do motion.div. Now, just by changing this to be a motion.div, it doesn't change anything about the appearance. This is obviously the exact same. All it does is it gives us some superpowers onto this thing. And by superpowers, I mean, check this out. All we have to do, I believe, let me double check. All we have to do is just say drag. And drag is going to be a Boolean value. So if we just say drag on this, watch this. Whoa, I can now drag it. I didn't have to do anything. Also, did you notice how fast, Vite updated? It also has some like physics. So if I like toss it, it's going to keep moving. You could toss it off the stage. And that's just by adding motion.div and then drag. That's it. That's it. Very cool. Now let's also add a drag elastic. 0.7. Save this. Drag elastic. I might need to actually do a manual refresh. No, it's just still like this. Did I spell drag elastic correctly? Well, I was expecting it to do something else, but whatever. Maybe I need the constraints on there first. So let's add some constraints. Drag constraints is equal to, and if you're expecting a polished tutorial, this is not what I'm doing right now. I am essentially just hacking through the code examples that I will eventually turn into a tutorial. I'm just, again, getting things set up for myself for later. And I've never really done a lot of streaming, so I figured I would stream it. Okay, so we have drag constraints here. We have drag elastic, and you can see now, oh, it's so funny. There's no, if I drag it down, it shoots back up, right? Just like what we wanted to. But if you drag it this way, it just is going to keep going in that dimension. It's very funny. That's not what we wanted to do, obviously. We wanted to only drag up and down. So if you wanted to only drag up and down, well, drag, this property right here, not only is it going to be a Boolean, but it can also be a string of X or Y. Meaning if we say, hey, drag Y, then it's only going to allow us to drag in the Y dimension. For instance, now we cannot drag it left or right. We can only drag it up and down. And notice how we basically are a long ways of the way to this card design that I really wanted to build. So you pull it down, it shoots back up. You pull it up, shoots back down. Very cool, right? Now, one thing you'll notice is that when we drag it up, that we see the bottom of it. I don't really want to see the bottom of it. So we can add a whole bunch of padding to the bottom of this. At least, is that what I want to do? Do I want to add padding to the bottom of this? I'm actually not positive about that. I might need to check out area. Let's see. So, check out area wrapper. Okay, so the way I actually did this on the Level Up tutorial site was I had a child of this, a child div that was just another wrapper. So it was like a div, and then maybe we can have an H1 in here that says, hello, Twitch and YouTube. Okay, and on this div, I had a style of padding bottom. And I seriously did like 400 pixels. So we're going to see if this is in fact the fix. So we have hello Twitch and YouTube in here, and the H1 is right here. I'm guessing it's not going to be a fix because this is not 100% of the height. So did I do just a height percentage 100 on this thing? Let's see. It's very possible that that's what I did. I did a calc. Oh, this is fun. I'm not quite sure why I did this, but I'm very positive that I did it for a specific reason because I typically don't do things for no reason. And we're going to say height. Every single time I just sidebar, every single time I look at some of my code and I think, why did I do this? This was stupid. And then I delete it. I immediately remember, oh yeah, that's why I did it. Should say maybe I should write better comments. All right, so we got height. Calc it up. We're going to calc it. If you don't know about calc, calc is super just darn useful. You can see we're using it here. I do love calc in CSS. So we're going to calculate the height, and we're going to say it's 100 VH plus, we're going to say 400 pixels, okay, which is the padding bottom. Now, if I was doing this in my real CSS and not just like hack CSS, make that a CSS variable, okay? So let's see if this solves it. Doesn't look like it. Mostly because I'm flying blind here. I don't have my dev tools open. Okay, so the height of this thing shows that it's 1000. Okay. So fixed. Oh, is it because I have an explicit height on this thing? It might be because I have an explicit height on it. But that shouldn't matter because I shouldn't have any overflow. I don't know. It's honestly not too important to this. It's something I'll figure out in a minute here. Maybe, what could I need on here? No, not position, revert, or padding revert. Who's ever heard of that? Position relative. So this, I'm just looking right now at my background white, at my code that I have. There we go. So it's interesting the way I chose to do this. So the wrapper, even though this has a background of white in the border radius and all that stuff, I honestly don't think it needs it. And it simply should just be a wrapper. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so bear with me here. What I want to do here, the big thing that I'm doing is I want this to be able to pull this up as far as possible, right? You can see I'm pulling it up and have it never show the bottom. And what I did initially incorrectly is I had things like the background and everything essentially in the what I call a transport. I don't know why I call it a transport. I don't know if I saw that somewhere. I don't want to take credit for it if I did. I just referred to that as a transport. So basically the transport is a thing that exists that doesn't necessarily have any style or whatever, but it's there to primarily provoke the animation or the interaction correctly. So when I say that, I mean like, hey, this motion div, it shouldn't be the display thing. It should be the thing that contains the display thing. So the border radius and the background of white should be on the interior div. There we go. And that obviously fixes up the stupid margin. I hate margins, top margins at least. Okay. So you can see now everything kind of looks the way I want it to look. So you can pull it down, it's going to return up here. You can pull it up, it's going to return back down. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. This is how it goes, right? So now one of the cool things is that we can have this card, whether or not this card is open, we can have this card, whether or not it's open, be determined by the by this this local state. I'm looking at some of my code here to see how I did that, because checkout area wrapper. I would like this thing to essentially disappear whenever it's closed and animate open whenever it's open. And maybe I should just be doing that inside of another another transport, an actual transport. Okay, so this is going to get funny here. We have 3 wrappers going on. Now, I'm not exactly positive why I did this, but again, it was for a reason, and I'm going to stick to that for now at least, and then dive into a little bit about why later. If we do another emotion.div in here, no, not that, not a class of div. If we do another motion.div, oh my God, VS Code is trying so hard to be helpful right now and is just goofing up so hard. It's like, oh, you want me to just, copy this end element and everything? Okay, there we go. So we have a motion div inside of a motion div, and inside of that is our display. So this is our drag transporter, and this is our animation transporter, which is funny. How do I toggle that? I think I had a pointer events on it, maybe. Oh, checkout area wrapper is a style div. Hang tight. I'm looking at some of this code here. It's very funny to me because I made all these decisions and I remember doing it at the time and I thought it was very interesting. So I have the is go to cart, review cart. Okay, is subscription. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Close checkout. Sorry about this. Again, this is not a tutorial. This is just supposed to be me hacking away, right? Just trying it out, getting used to this streaming thing, right? Hopefully the choppiness and the stream has improved now that I fixed my internet and all that stuff. Okay. So we have this card. It's kind of neat. It goes up and down. I'm not quite sure what I did differently in my other project, because what I did is I said, hey, turn this thing on or turn this thing off. And what I don't see in there is any sort of if statement. If it might even be, this might even be, it's funny, it might even be a, oh, close checkout. Sorry, I'm looking at some code off screen. I'm gonna move it onto screen. I just wanted to. So the code I'm looking at right here is the code that's on Level Up Tutorials. Forgive me, this is TS with some errors. We basically just are using TS as a linter right now. You can see that there is some TS errors popping in and out of here. Those are being taken care of, but migrating to TypeScript from an entire site that isn't TypeScript is tough. It takes a little while, especially when you're a small team like us. So I believe there is a cart wrapper here that I'm missing. You can see this checkout area wrapper. I'm going to pop open to my actual imports, UI, checkout. By the way, this color scheme isn't really doing it for me. Let's head back to Retrion. Retrion's my favorite. This one's maybe a little bit easier to read. Okay. So we have checkout. Is checkout the main component here? Here it is. This is literally all I had to do was scroll down. Here it is. Checkout wrapper. Checkout wrapper. Checkout wrapper. Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. So is checkout open? This is the only thing we want here. And animate presence is going to be simply the animate presence. Is checkout open? Yes, okay. But then where was I doing the on and off state for this thing? it would be checkout. And then in checkout is, in fact, just this. But I don't understand where I am animating this to say, oh, this is it. Okay, I got it. So we need a couple of things here. So the first thing we need is we need to have an animate presence in here. Animate presence allows us to animate presence allows us to basically wrap everything in a conditional to say like, hey, if this is unmounting, then go ahead and run an animation. So if we wrap this entire thing in an anime presence, that's one thing you're going to see here is wrappers among wrappers among wrappers, because that's the web. So we have an animate presence wrapper. Then inside of here, we're going to do an is open to do the simple conditional is open. If it's open, show the div. If not, blah, blah, blah. And we want to rig up this set is open to the button. So we can just do on click is equal to, and we can just do set is open to opposite of is open. Now you might look at this line of code and say like, whoa, Scott, you're not supposed to do that. You should be taking the previous value and then well, come on, this is going to work just fine, just like this. So many people worry way too much about that. Okay, too many re-renders, infinite loop. I did a cardinal sin of just calling the function directly in the JSX template. Thank you, Vite, whatever. Here we go. Open card. Click it. Here it is. Now if we click this, it's doing the exact thing. If is open. This is so funny. I just went on a mini rant about this, and I'm about to be made a fool of here by my own self. So let's figure this out. State is false. State is still false. State is true. State is false. Yo, why aren't you disappearing? Oh, you aren't disappearing because there's no key. Ha! Man, every once in a while. Okay, so we have the animate presence here. Yes, yes, yes. We do want a key on this motion div. Key. That way the toggle will work. We're just going to say this is going to be the checkout or the card, whatever we want. It doesn't matter. Now this should in fact work. Let me refresh. Hard refresh. It doesn't hide it. Why aren't you hiding it? That's so weird to me right now. Because the state value is coming in as false. So is open is set to false. Whatever. If I didn't have this animate presence here, and this was just a toggle like this, I feel like this would work. It does. So animate presence is the problem. What am I doing wrong in animate presence? It's funny, I do this stuff constantly, and yet animate presence is being a jerk. So is open. Let's see. Let's try it out. Brad says he didn't realize I went live. I went live and it was not very good. It has not been good. I'm just trying to get all my stuff figured out here. So open card pops up. Click it again. It doesn't close. What are you doing here? It's definitely getting the event. It's definitely triggering the state. It's the animate presence that's the problem. So I have a key on my motion div. I had a key, so it's not the key. Ay. So if it's not the key, what could it be? I'm not sure. Let's just keep going for now because I need that transport. I added this motion div that was supposed to be like the transport. This is the drag transport, and then this is the animation transport. So for the animation transport, it needs an exit property. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. If you have an animate presence, one of its children needs to have an exit property or else the whole thing doesn't work. I know this. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Okay, so the exit property is going to say, hey, on exit, we want Y to go something like 110%. Give me 110%, please. Initial and initial will get the same. And animate will get something like 0%. We want you to be right up at the top, not 0% just 0%. And then we want a transition to have some values here. Again, this isn't the tutorial. I'm working on just code for a tutorial. And so I'm sorry if I'm moving too quick or doing things and not explaining them. That's just really the process here. Okay, let's refresh this. Let's open the card. There it is. The slides up. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Close the card. Yeah, cool. In case you're wondering, this is actually how I do code. I just realized you couldn't see me. I was like dancing and moving around over here. I was celebrating. You might have heard some snapping, but I was celebrating over here because check it out. Bingo, bango. It works. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get. So the answer is, of course, that you need an exit property on a single child. It doesn't have to be the direct child, it just has to be one of the children. So you got to throw that exit on that children. So here's basically the flow of things. We have an animate presence, we have a Boolean, then we have the draggable transport, then we have the animation transport, and then we have the thing that we want to actually have itself. So open card, here's Twitch and yellow, click there, and then it's gone. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so last part of this. If you remember from the level up tutorials implementation, level up tutorials implementation here, we go down like this and it goes away. So let's go ahead and do that. How do we do that? Well, it's really super easy. We have drag constraints and drag and blah, blah, blah. All we need here is to do an on drag end on drag. I love this library. It's so fantastic. And don't get me wrong, I love React Spring as well, but React Spring makes things very difficult things very easy. React Framer Motion takes like average things, like things that you just need to do all the time, and makes them insanely easy. So on drag end, and on drag end gives you a couple of parameters, the first of which we don't need, so I use it as an underscore. The second of which is going to be, I call it info because I'm pretty sure that's what it is in their docs, or else I wouldn't have called it info. And we can do a simple, well, here, check this out. I'm going to show you this because it's worth seeing. I'm going to do a console log of info on drag end, okay? Because if I do a console log here, you'll be able to see this thing and like what it's actually doing. So open card, I drag it down. You can see on drag end, I get some fun stuff in here, of which it just made too big. It's too gray anyways. There's not enough contrast. But you can see inside of here is a delta. It's an offset, a point, and a velocity. So out of all of those, you might be wondering which one we want to use. I am in particular, since this is just going to be a Y value, I want to just track the distance. Like how far have we dragged this thing distance-wise? And I could say if we've dragged this more than a certain number, then have it close. And you can see inside of point is it's just a simple X, Y. So we have an X or a Y. Ooh, yeah. We can simply just say if info dot point dot y is greater than, and I believe that was just a number. It's a number. Let's try something like 500. If that is that, then we're going to run set is open to false, like this. And I'm not used to coding with semicolons, so these semicolons popping up here, not my favorite, but what am I going to do? I'm not going to do anything about that. Who cares? Nobody cares. I care. Brad asked me, how's my knee? My knee is terrible. It is like 8 different colors. It is really sucks. For those of you who don't know, I had a bit of an accident. I'm just so clumsy. It's so funny. I do braking. I do snowboarding. I do all this stuff, and I never get hurt. Ever. Never get hurt. I was running into my garage and I put my foot on the concrete step and ripped off the skin of my toe, causing me to slip and slam my knee into the concrete step. My knee is absolutely destroyed. It was gigantic and now it's just black and blue. I saw my physical therapist and apparently it's not broken, which is a great thing, or I didn't hurt any of the tendons or anything like that, ligaments. So I just slammed it, big slam, and now it looks rough. Also, my shin got like road rash all the way down. It just, man, I do all this stuff and then I get hurt walking to the garage. Okay, so we have this, and check it out. I'm gonna drag it just a little bit. Nothing, doesn't close. A little bit more, doesn't close. How about a lot bit more? No, doesn't close. And it closes. Hey. So that 500 is clearly a little bit too much, right? You could assess this if you were a user. In fact, let's even pull this into mobile land here. You're a user. You click on this. This drawer pulls up, and you go like this. All right, get rid of it. It's gone. Hey, actually, that worked. So 500 wasn't too bad, but maybe if you just do it like a little bit, you can see you're like, oh, come on, it's not working. So I think 500 is way too much, and I would never do that in real life. I just had it there to an effect. 200 seems about right. And if we do to 200, there we go. Open card, whoop. Open card, whoop. And if you really wanted to, you could throw anything inside of here. You could also throw a button that says close card and put it position absolute like we do. We could do on click is equal to a function that set is open to true. And also, I do sing a lot when I code. I sing when I'm coding. So we can click open card and you can click close card to not close it. Oh, set is open should be false. I'm closing the card. So close card, it's gone. Boop, boop, boop. Now drag it. There we go. Boom, bingo, bango. So now what I have here is essentially the working code for what one of the tutorials will be in the course. And what I do is I just keep this as is. And one of the things is it doesn't have to run when I'm using it as an example. So I'll come in here and I'll just make a new file and we'll just call this drawer.jsx. We start typing tsx. Just copy and paste this whole thing over here. And now I at least have something as a reference whenever I do my next tutorial course. Then what do? Well, I come in here, I delete it all and start over again. So this is really the process of how I develop content for my course. Is I have fun with stuff. And you know what? Sometimes I have fun with stuff in level up tutorials. In fact, this idea to make this card initially came about from the level up tutorial site, as I've showed you several times. So, I get a lot of inspiration for the code that I'm doing in real production for my content. So this is all pretty good. Yeah. Someone says it's Vite, like bite. Oh, is that Brittany? Hey, Brittany. Not quite sure. I am not quite sure. Hey, I am new to this. I'm in German for 39 minutes. Pretty cool. So somebody asked me if I can make a course on Rust and WASM. If if that is something you are interested in, let me show you my roadmap. And so my roadmap here is Advanced Animating Advanced, which is course number 52 for level up tutorial, or 51051. So the course is going to be Advanced Animation with Frame Motion, course number 51. The most recent course was number 50 for React 3D, which is crazy that I've done this many pro courses. I've probably done just as many free courses. I've done like 2,000 free courses or 2,000 free videos on YouTube. So the amount of videos I've amassed here is pretty bananas. Cool. So what else do we got? Somebody who is interested will notice that one of my selected courses is Rust Camp. And one of the things that we're going to be teaching is Rust with WASM. Um, what's funny, this is all of my my like course ideas, and I'm kind of showing you a little bit of secret sauce here, but these are some of my course ideas, and I need to clean this up because Universal Expo, it's not selected. And animating svelte is not selected. In fact, I would like to do it. Neither is React charts. I plan on doing, the one I plan on doing for sure out of all of these is Performant React. I'm guessing this one will be the 53rd course from Level Up Tutorials, but I'm not positive of it. JavaScript up to date, I'm also not confident on that one. I plan on probably doing a Meteor and React course, but maybe not with Apollo. Modules is still up in the air because I don't have access yet. I've asked them for access, so who knows when that's coming, whenever that comes out of beta. If you're not up on modules, modules is a neat little project that allows you to write React components in an interface like Figma, which is sort of what a lot of people thought Framer X was going to be. You can see some of my courses that have been shelved over here. These are some courses that I'm in the middle. In fact, go to calendar. September 30. I don't know anything about dates. That's the one thing about me. I don't know anything about holidays. I don't know anything about dates. They just show up. They're here, whatever. Dates here, whatever. Every day is the same. So we will be doing a course on WASM and Rust. That's for sure. Whew. Okay, so that was my. It's funny. Courtney and I have been doing this new calendar thing where we're putting our calendar and explicitly doing X, Y, and Z for a specific amount of time. And from 12 to 2 p.m. was my course prep time. And we have now passed my course prep time, and we have now moved into recording for the series or for fun. And I guess you could count this live stream as being one of those things. So I'm currently recording for fun. I wonder if my computer would absolutely blow up if I did a screen cap at the same time as this. I'm sure you could do it through OBS. Maybe. I'm not positive about it. If I click record, I wonder if that will do it. So let's actually think about this because I want to do something fun here for an actual course, or not a course, or like a free video that I could release on YouTube. So maybe you could see some of the secret sauce into how I record for my account and see if it will let me do that without my computer blowing up. I typically use ScreenFlow. I don't love ScreenFlow, and I feel like if I use ScreenFlow right now, the whole thing's going to blow up. So let me see if I can at least try to do this in OBS, and then if it doesn't work out, then whatever, it's a throwaway. This is a learning experience. This whole thing is Scott trying Twitch and whatever. I'm on Twitch right now. Hey, I'm twitching. So that's cool. I keep looking over here, by the way. I should have my camera over here. That's where my monitor is. In case you're wondering, probably a little bit better that you can actually see this thing, or I can actually be talking. What am I recording? What am I going to be talking about right now? Well, we're going to be doing a little bit of a transition because my calendar has told me to do something else. So what are we going to be talking about? Well, check this out. You're going to get behind the scenes view into how I record some of my content. If that doesn't sound fun, me apologies. I'm trying this out here. I have a whole bunch of ideas for Twitch. In fact, watch this space because I didn't show you my little Twitch card for a specific reason. I have a bunch of really interesting and fun ideas to do there. I just realized why my aspect ratio is so skewed is because I'm taking a stream that is not 16:9 and I'm displaying it at 16:9. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we're going to record a single video. And what is this video going to be on? Well, it's going to be on One of my favorite Babel things. It's going to be on aliases within Babel. I am pretty excited about this. And by the way, if you're wondering why I haven't shared the stream anywhere really, I'm figuring things out here. I want it to be good by the time I start to share it. Andre wants to know about things that I recommend for building an email list. That is not a good question for me. I'm really bad at building an email list. I've failed on it numerous times, and now I've actually my current email list that's going out is being created for us by a wonderful creator, Sydney Sawyer. She's doing some awesome work, and she's just been writing our newsletter and taking over that aspect of it. Because why? I'm so bad at it. So I do not have any answers for you, Andre. I'm very bad at it. I'll just say that. So let's get some sidelight in here first. There we go. I just realized I've been recording this whole time. Okay, well, let's actually do the recording. And behind the scenes view, let me pull up my Babel RC file. And let me, real quick, I have some sensitive stuff in my package.json I don't want you to see, so I'm going to scroll to a very specific part of my package.json. That way I'm not exposing any keys or anything. Okay. Hey, what's up? This is Scott. My hat look okay? Okay. Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and in this video, what we're going to be doing is talking about some of my Babel configuration that is interesting, or at least so every time I show off some of my Babel configuration, people say, I didn't know you could do that, or I didn't know this was possible, or I didn't know that you did this. So I'm going to be showing off some of my Babel configuration. We're going to be talking about what I do and why, and some of the little niceties that I throw into my Babel configuration to make my project a little bit more, well, comfortable for me to develop in. So I don't fully expect you to agree with all of these choices, but they're my choices. You don't have to agree with them. I just want to show them off. So let's talk about it here. What's up with my Babel configuration, and why is it important or interesting at all? So for one, we're using preset env, right? No shocker there. Everybody's probably using preset env. We're also using preset React. Again, no shocker there. That should not come to any sort of, that's not interesting at all. Well, let's talk about the env though. Instead of env, we have plugins. Babel plugin JSX remove data test ID. Now, why the heck do we have Babel plugin remove JSX remove data test ID? That is a long Babel plugin JSX remove data test ID. Got it. Okay. Why do we have this? Well, we have it very specifically because we use test IDs very frequently to test just about anything. Actually, let's not do that one. Let's see. Yeah, here's a perfect one. Checkout area, data test ID checkout. Why? Well, we use two testing platforms, Cypress and Jest with React Testing Library. Both of them, we identify our components via test IDs. Now, why are we stripping that from our code in production? Well, why not? It doesn't need to be there. It's just extra bytes, extra data. It's stuff that you can just get rid of, and it's a free, easy win. So if you're using any data test IDs to test your stuff, throw this on here. It gets rid of that. It's probably a nominal change in your bundle size, but hey, better to have it than to not if it's an easy add, right? So what else? So add React display name. It's funny. It's giving me a spelling error. I'm going to say add to workspace dictionary. Here we go. Okay. So add React display name. I think this one just adds basically when you inspect your components, it shows you the display name of the component. It's nothing really crazy. Another thing we have is this Babel plugin version. Now, Babel plugin version allows us to, if we do --version, you can see here, well, this is our d.ts file. Let's find a better one. I don't want to expose anything. Well, I'm afraid to click these Sentry ones because I don't want to reveal if there's like a URL in there or something. Either way, this version basically allows you to use this global underscore underscore capital version to get the version from package.json anywhere in your application. That way you can do things like what we're doing with Sentry to pass in our version number upon each error that's received. That way you can track your Sentry errors along with a version. So that way when you push a new version out, you can see, hey, this error only happened on this version. Fantastic. All right, next one is going to be React Require. Now, what the heck is React Require? React Require makes it so you don't have to type import React from React on every single page. Because if it's a JSX file or a TSX file, why the heck would you be using anything other than React, other than Preact, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But we're using React on the site, right? So why the heck do you need to import React from React when you're not even using the React variable, unless of course you are using it. But for the most part, hey, I don't want to do that. Why would I want to do that? So to just give you a quick and easy example here, let's just find any old component. Here is a home component. Hey, you don't even see React loaded up here as well at all anywhere. I think Gatsby and Next.js do this, but you can see here's our components. Here they are, just like this. Okay, and notice how there's no import React from React. Who needs it? I don't need it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to think about it. Next one we have is import globals. Now, import globals. This is my favorite extension because, again, just like I don't want to have to import React on every component, I also don't want to import something that's going to be in every single bundle I include anyways. You could think of this like, for one, every single bundle of code, whether or not it's coming in as a dynamic import or what, every single one of those bundles is going to include React Router DOM, and it's going to include styled components. So why would I ever need to import styled or link from their respective things? Not only that, but I'm never, ever, ever going to create a variable with a capital L link. I'm never, ever, ever going to declare a variable styled, or GQL for that matter, right? Never going to do it. So why do I want to import those in every file? There's no good reason other than the fact that it's extreme clarity. But if I can get away with not having to do that, then it's one less line of code that I have to worry about. I know some people are like, well, why don't you just set up auto imports? Yeah, auto imports are set up. I don't care. I don't want it. So either way, I have import globals where I get to import GQL, module name, follow client, and I can say the export name GQL is the one that I want to be made available. So import globals, all it does is it allows you to specify things that are packages that you would like to have globally available to you. And I only use this for a select amount of things that are going to be in every bundle of mine, no matter what on the client side. Now, next up, Babel plugin styled components. Yeah, I got to have this for styled components. Babel plugin proposal class properties, that is not interesting. And honestly, I could probably get rid of it. I don't know if I'm even using this anymore, considering we're all hooks. And now to the coup de grace. that is a word that I do not know if that is appropriate or not. Let's say coup de grace. Let's see. I don't even know. Coup de grace is a French phrase meaning a blow of mercy, the final killing blow. I guess that fits. The coup de grace of this is going to be the module resolver plugin. In fact, we use this plugin really a lot. It's Babel plugin module resolver, versions at greater than 4 right now, and you can see it. Very cool. What does this plugin do? Well, let me tell you what this plugin does. It allows you to specify an alias for any of your given modules. First, you set your root, say, hey, my root is .. Then we say my alias is what? Well, here's a bunch of my aliases. And this allows you to essentially create what would be local modules, because notice how my elements folder is within imports UI elements. And elements for me contains all of my styled components. I use these things all over the place, all over my site. In fact, constantly using these things. So what I would typically have to do is let's find one of them here. I bet there'll be one inside of Hero. There is. We have a lot of elements inside of Hero. Notice how we have things like button, XBA. XBA stands for extra big ass heading. We have items and layout. So I'm using all of these. And I use this so frequently, I would have to say, oh, okay, where am I in the component tree, or ... Then maybe I can go to elements. Okay, but it takes such a mental model to think, where am I currently? Where do I need to go? So instead, I just created an alias to that path. The alias is to the root path, imports UI elements, and then therefore, anytime I would like to do my elements, I just say import them from elements. Do I have a package named element? No, of course not. Am I ever going to? No. Some people like to namespace this stuff by doing it like at elements to make it clear what it is. This is clear enough for me. It may not be clear enough for you. A lot of this stuff, again, is my personal preference. Again, we also have one for hooks, for state, for utilities, for TypeScript types, for UI, for animation, and for API. And all of these things allows us to quickly and easily just say, hey, I want to import this from this thing. I use this absolutely everywhere. Now, you might be wondering, are all these components, the button, the XBot, all that stuff, are all of these defined within the elements file? No. The part 2 of this is that we have an index.ts file that lives in the root of those folders. So let's head to our elements folder. Okay. I'm sorry for that free advertising for McDonald's. I take it back. Okay, so check it out. Elements folder. We have all of our different elements. They live in their own files. Very cool. And then what we do is we have an index.t. What could just be ts, but it's .tsx for some reason, but an index file. And this index file, all it does is it imports all of these things and then it exports everything from them. So, well, it exports them here. So these are our default ones. Our default imports are imported like this, exported like this. The ones with multiple exports, with named exports, we do export asterisk from blank. And what that does is it allows you to reference any of the components within this folder like this. So we have a folder with an index file that references all of our things, and then we have an alias set up in our Babel RC file just like this, and it allows us to quickly and easily access anything in our site. If I want a basic fade in, I can just do a basic fade in by importing. I can do import, I believe it's fade in from animations. I believe it's just like that. Allows me to do it just like that. This is the same thing. If I save this, that semicolon's going bye-bye. Okay. Again, this is just one thing that I like. I don't code this way in every language. In fact, I do really like the explicit nature of some things in... Get away from here, error. Well, you tripping. Okay. I do really like the explicit nature of imports in general, but there are some instances where I absolutely don't need it. And I specifically, I really just enjoy being able to import an element from my own elements package or an animation from my own animations package without having to move them into an NPM package and do some sort of a mono repo setup or do some sort of a nested package setup within my own setup. It's all a big mess when you do that. So if I can keep these things locally without having to publish them somewhere, whatever, I'm going to do that 10 out of 10 times. I'll tell you that. Okay, we have a question that says, what font am I using? I am using the font Mono Lisa, M-O-N-O, Lisa, all one word. It is difficult to search for because Google's like, you spelled that word wrong. So you have to kind of, yeah, it's like, I'm searching for it right now. Here is the font. It's available at monolisa.dev. It is a paid font. I did buy it. I don't believe it is too expensive. It is not, it's not Operator Mono expensive. And in my opinion, it's better than Operator Mono. Don't tell Wes I said that, but because he loves Operator Mono. But yeah, it looks good in all these languages. I like it. It's a nice font. I use this all the time. Okay, so this is how I add aliases into my project as well as other module defaults, global defaults to make my coding a little bit nicer for myself whenever I'm working. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you would like to learn more, see, this is the part I edit out. You're getting to see a little bit of behind the scenes now. Me opening up the Level Up Tutorials tab is something I edit out. Okay, so this is, okay, let me do a second take here. Second take. So if you would like to learn more about web development, head on over to leveluptutorials.com, where we have a ton of courses to teach you any sort of thing you would like to learn. The latest course, as of the time of recording this video, is React 3D, where we build actual stuff in 3D in React.js. In fact, it's so cool. Let me show you just a quick little snippet of something that we build. Look at that. We got cubes, we got trucks, we got all sorts of things. We even build our own landing page with a 3D plant on it, an instance mesh, all sorts of cool stuff. In fact, hey, that's me talking right after my haircut. Notice I'm not wearing a hat. So if you would like to learn all this and more, head on over to Level Up Tutorial. Let me take that again. So if you'd like to learn all of this and more, head on over to leveluptutorials.com/pro. Sign up to become a pro today. And if you sign up for the year, you're going to save 25% to get access to this course, as well as a brand new course every single month. So if you sign up today, you're going to get access to the 50 other Level Up Tutorials Pro courses, as well as 12 additional courses over the next year. So check it out, leveluptutorials.com. All right, now how do I stop recording? Stop recording. So that was my first recording over OBS. We'll see if that worked. If it didn't, I'll just do it again. So there's a little behind the scenes here. You got to see behind the scenes of all sorts of stuff. So one, I did one with a thumb. I did a little behind the scenes of how I prepare content for my courses, and two, I did a actual Level Up tutorial recording live on cam. That's really how I do my recordings. I just talk into the microphone and then I edit it to make it sound good later. So I guess that's it for this live stream. I'm hitting at least an hour here. And next time I promise it will not have a crappy aspect ratio. It will not be skewed. I will fix it. And we'll do more. I have a lot of different interesting ideas for shows here on Twitch. And since I have a bit of a schedule now to adhere to, what you're going to be seeing is some actual regular content from me for the first time in a long time, besides the 20-some videos I'm producing for Level Up Tutorials a month. So very cool. So thank you so much for watching and checking out my first Twitch stream here. Even if it was a little iffy at times, it will not be as iffy next time as I gain my traction here and learn how to use Streamlabs OBS a little bit more. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.